This is the story of a woman who lived in two places. She was born in Kano State, buried in Kano State, and came alive in a town called Oguta in Anambra State. Her name was Amina, and she was a healer. She was good with her hands, giving herbs and helping women, putting women who were in labor to bed. It was foretold before her birth that she was blessed and a miracle child. Amina was a woman full of laughter and jovial. She was always seen playing with the little children and helping the elderly. One fateful day, she fell sick. Even her herbs couldn't save her. The villagers tried all they could, but to no avail. After 3 days and 3 nights, she gave up the ghost. She was buried with her calabash and medicines. It was a sad night in the town of Sabongeri in Kano. Women wept, men wept. Because of how friendly she was, the king ordered she be buried under the mango tree in the village square. The children always played every night under the mango tree and built big fires in remembrance of her. 3 moons after her burial, the mango tree was struck by a lightning and died. No one could figure out what happened. Why was the mango tree struck by lightning? They asked. The king sent for a witch doctor to visit his palace and find out the reason of what happened. The witch doctor, after consulting the gods, said to the king, "I can't find out the reason, but in 3 days' time, a woman will come to the market and she will say the truth, and only she will determine what happened to the mango tree." Just like the witch doctor has foretold, a woman, Ujunwa, came from Anambra State all the way from Uguta to buy gold and crops for sale in Anambra. She told the story of how her mother, who was sick and close to dying, was helped back to life. She described the story to one of her favorite customers who was complaining of her grandmother being sick. Her description matches all the features and characters of Amina. The woman said, "No, she is the queen of our king. Her name is Chidi. She's a healer. No one knows where she came from, but she has helped my community. She heals the blind. She heals the deaf. She's a miracle woman. She has given my king 2 children in the space of 3 years." The market woman ran to the king's palace and councils and informed them of her findings. The council of elders found the story a bit overwhelming and they couldn't wrap their head around it. Then they sent their men, young men and able-bodied men in the community, to follow the woman back to Anambra to find out if truly that was their Amina, who is now known as Chidi. On the day the men arrived at Oguta, they found the woman in the market square healing people. Chidi recognized them. He knew their faces from somewhere. She ran out of joy and went to meet the men, hugged them and greeted them, and introduced herself. The men were lost of words. They told their story, but it was hard to believe. So the men, in accompanying of Chidi, the queen, walked to the palace and introduced them to the king, his husband. King Chukwuemeka, who was wise and handsome, already knew a day like that would come. It has been foretold by his ancestors that he will not bear a child, but he will meet a woman called Amina who will change his life from good. King Ugochukwu, who was wise, a majestic king, a king under the mountain, a king who was known from far away all the way from Onitsha to Oguta. He was the wealthiest king in the east of the Niger. Before his ascension of the throne, he has been told by his forebearers that he will not be a child, that only a woman risen from the dead will be able to be the one to proclaim life and give life unto his offsprings. Without saying much, he hosted a party for his guests from Kano and threw one of the biggest parties because he knows that was a farewell party for his wife Amina, only in his mind and in his heart. After the celebration, he sent his guard and his wife, accompanied by the men from Kano, to walk them back to Sabongeri in Kano to meet the elders and council to be able to ascertain the history and where Amina came from. On Amina's arrival into the town, she began to remember everything that happened. She remembered how she was at the point of death, how she was asked to choose between life and death. She chose to save a life, to be the last thing she would do before she was deceased. She was taken to the big tree where she was buried. She was taken to the grave of her parents. In her heart, she knew she had a limited time. It was as if it was time for her to go. She could feel the birds, the sky, the wind whispering to her, "You have given a life to a man who needed it the most. You have bear children to a king worthy of your praises." She killed a big cow in remembrance of her parents. She healed the sick and the blind. It was a joyful day in the town of Sabongeri. 3 months after she returned to Sabongeri, it was foretold she was never found again. It was a rumor that she joined back her ancestors. Some said she went back to the goddess of the river. Some said she turned to a stone. After a while, a river flowed upwards into the river Nile, and people assumed that was a good sign for the town of Sabongeri. It was called a miracle river, and anyone who bathed in it is healed once you believe. Amina has grown to be a powerful name among the Northerners, a name known for healers, for queens and princesses. She lived in the hearts of the elderly. They kept saying the story, even after she was gone, that she lived within them. The folktales never ended there. People dedicated gifts. People called upon her spirit. People worshipped the trees. People worshipped the river. But at the end, no one truly knew where Amina was. And she was known as a woman who lived in the north and in the east, who was known as Amina and Chidi, who was a healer, who was majestic, who was a queen. A woman who lived in 2 places. This is the end of my story.